Alright, so here's the thread, right? That being said about add-ons, a DPS meter adds much value to the game and should be part of the baseline. And I'm like, yep, that's fine, right? That's fine. As good as it is, unfortunately, you cannot trust people with it to harass and gate people from doing content if they don't consider you good enough. It is good on paper and it's super useful. I cannot write for shit, right? Just forgive my cheated writing. But I think I get the message across, right? Like, it is good on paper and it's super useful. People have time and time again proven they can be trusted with itself, right? I don't think I'm really saying, oh, ACT, like, never had ACT. It is a good tool, but you cannot trust people with it. And the reason why ACT is not allowed on 14, and I don't know about WoW, but who gives a fuck? But you cannot be trusted with it, right? So we got, for example, one testimony. We're into these 2 weeks ago. BDK tank, I don't know. Wanted to kick anyone doing less damage on he have the raid drop 1 tank. New came in and he said he was tanking wrong. We clear with new tank, no running us all over. Most of the people didn't have done that wing. Like, as long as you clear, what the fuck? Get out of here. You are gonna get cleared. There you go. Get out. I feel like as long as you clear, you should be fine. If you're not setting any sort of, if you don't set any sort of, there's no point in setting up a high standard if you just want to clear. That is just stupid. Nobody cares about you having a 99 pars. If you want to have it for yourself because it makes you feel good, like I do. I like having a 99 pars because it makes me happy, but I don't tell that to people. Nobody knows that. And I have like, I have my logs on private, right? But like, I have decent pars. I mean, it's not the best. I have barely been able to do this too, but like I have a 99, 95, a 90. I have not found parties to do this one yet, but like I parse basically Erictonius and phase 1. These 3 are from Party Finder. I could not find like a party to do it. So I wouldn't say I'm like a shitty gamer. I can do my thing just fine, but I don't want to let people know about this because it's my personal stuff. And if somebody asks me, I'll show them. But I'm not gonna fucking go on their face about it, right? So let's see, what else we got, right? If your DPS isn't high enough, it's not other players that are gatekeeping you. You just aren't capable of playing at that level. Even other people have enough DPS, doesn't matter that they are obligated to carry you. That is not how it works. Because there is this misconception that you are not doing good enough DPS. Well, first of all, you don't know that, because one of the things that people think is that this, for example, this 46 is technically wrong, because that means you're doing below average. Because the average will be quote-unquote 50, right? That's not how this works. This is a 46 based on people that can clear, but a 10 and a 15, it's still a clear. If everyone does like a 15 pars, it's still a clear and you can meet the DPS check just fine. All this is just, let me lower the volume real quick. There's just no point in having over 20. You can still clear with that. But I think people don't understand that. There's no way for you to tell if someone is doing enough DPS or not. Reliably, at least. To clear, right? To clear a fight. Like, obviously, if someone is doing 4k DPS or 3k DPS, obviously that guy doesn't even know how to play their class, right? But if someone is doing 5, 6k, right? Usually the average is people doing 6k. That's good enough to clear. If everyone does the mechanics right, and no one fucks it up, which is basically how Savage works. Savage is more about not fucking things up. As Jontron said once, if you do the thing, and you do it right, and you don't fuck it up, it works. It just works. You don't need to go over the edge to fucking clear it. You really do not. right? There's this other element. People who want to harass others will also do regardless of what actually happens in the game. Yes, this is true, but you're giving them more tools to do so. Assholes are gonna be assholes no matter what, but you're just basically enabling them to be more pieces of shit that they should be allowed to, because usually, right, if someone wants to harass someone for DPS, it is easier to do if you have ACT or not. Otherwise, for you, it's just speculation. Is that, oh, I feel like this guy is not doing enough. Based on what? You cannot make that claim. And on the same token, you could be thinking that someone else is not doing enough damage, but it turns out it's you that you're not doing enough damage, for example. So like this, the tool allows you to harass better, if that makes any sense. It helps people to be more of a piece of shit, right? So that's why it's like, if you take that tool away from them, you're making it harder. But this is the guy that I was talking about before. The last few time walking dungeons I've been to, one DPS always just stand there and auto-attacks the entire dungeon, while others refuse to heal until I show them DPS and cast. Now, I have no idea what this is based on, but I think this is not an ACT dealing damage discussion. This is someone just not trying. And I think anyone will pick this guy, right? You have someone, if you're doing a dungeon and you guys have guy not doing anything, just auto-attacking and slowing the whole dungeon down, I'm pretty sure anyone can pick them, whether it's WoW, whether it's 14, whether it's anything. I don't think this is the point. And then he derails this into, in 14 everyone's a slacker because it is banned to even mention DPS in groups. The game mechanics are different as well, and should fit you better than WoW, which is more based on you knowing your optimal rotation instead of randomly pressing buttons that feel good. You can tell this guy has never played 14 in their life. You need to optimize your rotation to pass things like Savage and Extreme. Maybe not Extreme, not so much, but like if you have...
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic...
If you're in Savage and you're just doing your 1, 2, 3 and doing nothing else, I can guarantee you're not clearing that Savage. You know what I mean? Or like clearing... Well, let alone the fucking ultimate, right? Extremes, I don't think you can get away with that either. So like, you need to have some sort of idea on how your rotation works. Besides, Time Walk is just a dungeon you can do of older expansion where you're reverted to that level of the expansion. You can get gear of that expansion to your item level. So Time Walk is a good example. So basically, it doesn't even matter. So this is like me basically not trying in Satasha or something like that on a roulette, because I'm not gonna fucking try that hard on Satasha. You know what I mean? It's fucking Satasha. I'm just gonna mash the AoE and fuck it, right? Like, what would you try that hard in Satasha? So if you're telling me this is just like an equivalent of Dungeon Sync, then who cares? Something like that. Then who fucking cares, right? Like, we're talking about hard raiding, right? And you're telling me basically, oh, but I have this guy not trying on fucking Satasha. Well, who does? I'm not gonna try hard on an alliance raid, for example, or like on a roulette, because who gives a fuck? It's older content. As long as you do enough to clear it and you get it out of the way, that's fine. That's not the place for you to try hard. And you're basically implying here that everyone in 14 doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and that's not true. The difference between 14 is that we have places where you can just chill and go brain dead, and you don't, but that's not our problem. We have dungeons where you can just smash and chill, like the Realm Reborn dungeons. You don't even have to try that hard in a Realm Reborn. But I don't think that's a problem. That's fine. Why did you just wanna kill things and chill, you know? Yeah, in a perfect world, it's great. I will see my DPS and it can help us see who might be lacking in our group so we can possibly help them out. Maybe they haven't been messing their rotation this whole, etc. But in practice, exactly. In a perfect world, this will be the proper use because this is how I use it. I will see my DPS, right? I like seeing my DPS be better. and it can help us see someone who might be lacking in our group, right? If you see someone that has like way less damage on a close confined group where you know each other, and you're like, hey, do you want some help with your rotation or whatever? Because I feel like you are not doing something well. Like, do you want us to help you out? Something like that, right? But yeah, ideally, it would be like this. Who knows, maybe they change the time walkers so I don't know. But it's fine. I think for the sake of the example, if it's on like a hardcore rating, it's fine. But yeah, this is basically the main point. Ideally, it's a good tool to help people out, but you cannot trust people, and that's just how it is. Then I had this guy be like, have you experienced that? Because I have read a lot about how big of a problem damage meters are, but the people around me or myself have never run any problems with it. Well, would you look at that? I do have a screenshot for you. It has to be a fake screenshot. I have never been told credible sources, Twitter, Twitch chat, that there's the toxic people in 14. I had this bitch being like, Simnia, why'd you log your logs? And I'm like, what do you mean? Last day, this guy can't even fucking talk. Look at him, he's a fucking pig. Last day, I'm playing with you fucking sucks, man. Do you need boost, motherfucker? I'm like, I don't even remember playing with you. What? No, I can play just fine. Leave, guys. This leader, dog shit. And then the guy leaves. Someone else leaves. So I'm left with 4 out of 6 people, and then all these people eventually leave. But I didn't screenshot the whole thing. But all these people leave, and I cannot do the thing. And I don't have my logs open because of people like you, that you're just basically proving my point that ACT is fucking garbage. I also have another one. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So on this one, Hojin, I have a question. How the hell do you have 0 percentile on Phoenix? There we go. I burst the bubble. How brave. You are so brave for taking that out of your chest. You're like, oh my god, this is such a controversial take, but I need to get this out of me. I will go down as a villain, but I'm gonna ask you, why is your parse shit? And I don't know what he was thinking. I was probably the frog clears. All 3 clues were the block clear. Well, I don't know if it's the 3 of them. Well, we have cleared several times before just fine. So like, I'm like, well, we have clear. Who cares? We don't lock the clears because we don't use ACT. I'm going to let them join. But if we fail DPS, then I'm going to look directly to them. Since I'm PS5, I don't have a parser, but I still would rather kill this. We have not even gotten into the raid yet. And this guy is already fucking ready to point fingers. And I'm like, your reasoning might be against TOS, so I will be careful with that. It's against TOS if I use the app myself, which I can as a PS5 user. No! That's not how it works, buddy. In fact, it's the other way around. If you use the parser yourself, you may actually be fine if you just keep it to yourself. But as soon as you take it out and you start pointing fingers, even if you are not using the parser yourself, that's when you might get banned. Because the thing about ACT, it's not the tool itself, it's the toxicity that is created around it. So it's the other way around. Kicking a person, I think, is trash, is not against anything. Yes, it is. I got a person banned because of that for a week, which is this guy, right? This is the guy I was talking about. I got that guy at least banned for a week. Actually, I don't know if he's still banned or not. Let's see. Those Hatso. Let's see. I'm pretty sure he was not perma-banned, but let's see if he has logged anything recently. He looks like he did. Update 3 days ago. Okay, so he got back. But like, there was a while where this guy doesn't even have that good parse, and he's talking trash to people about parses. He has a 60 and an 84 on Ericthonius, which is not even that impressive. So like, this guy's talking shit about parses is not even that good, right? But you know. Anyway. But yeah, I think I got that guy banned for like a week or so, because there was like a whole... there was a time where I was checking his logs to see if he logged anything, and he didn't log anything for a while, so I'm pretty sure this guy got banned, for at least for a bit. I had this guy that came to a party. I was trying to give him context about this. Because A, you don't get notified of punishments, and B, it's not against COS. It is against COS. You do not get notified, but I knew the person, so I checked the log, so I knew. Insults are, but if I'm not insulting and simply moving it, it's not. Sounds like you are massive problems. And this guy, let's get the kill real quick, I'm missing S ranks for this. Go put a report on me, and after this, he kicked me. And after that, he kicked me and Kojin, basically. So like, you're just full of shit. Anyway, what other fuckers we have? These are people doing low DPS that don't know they're doing low DPS, because the game doesn't tell you. Nerf aspects aside, how can you get better at your class if you can only guess how you bring best of almost 5? This is a good point. I understand this point. It's like, well, if you don't see your own DPS meter, how can you tell if you're doing better or worse? Now, while this is true, I don't feel like ACT is the only way to do this, right? Like, you can look up resources, you can look up like how other people do rotations, there's videos on YouTube, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of things you can do. The only issue in the game is aggro. Well, yeah, also that you have the aggro list on 14, right? But like, even then, you have websites like The Balance or Started 14, where you can look up like rotations, openers.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
If I'm, for example, a samurai and the bar has more aggro than me, that's a problem. Yeah, exactly. That means that you're not performing well as a samurai. So then you can be like, hey, I feel like I need to do better my rotation as samurai. And then you can look up the rotations on Google, you can look up stuff on Google. So you don't necessarily need ACT on this spot to do this. Again, I don't have a problem with ACT. I think ACT is good. I use ACT privately. I do it privately, I don't show it to people. But I do it because I like self-improving and I like min-maxing. So I do it. But I don't tell people about it because I feel it's necessary, right? If I'm playing a video game, I don't care. So having someone else just throwing tables on my face just makes me want to play something. Now, here's the thing, right, about this too, right? This depends on the context, right? Because if you're on a high-end raid and you are expecting to do the mechanics right, and you don't care, then you are not where you're supposed to be, right? Like, you cannot be on a high-end raid and do fucking nothing, but you need to do at least the requirement to clear. I feel like that should be the requirement. You need to do enough to clear. Obviously, please don't do the bare minimum, but like, do rotation right, do your mechanics right. But if you're like there, like, oh, I don't care, I'm gonna do fucking whatever on a savage, then yeah, you're kind of disrespecting people. But again, this just depends on how you face it, right? And then we got the shitter. Where is he? They're every right to do that if they want. Make your own group and you can send your stand. So it's not basically, oh, well, they have their every right. They have their every right to harass you. If they want. Oh my god. I'm gonna fucking choke. They have every right to do that if they want. Make your own group. So it's like, oh, if you get harassed, just make your own group, lol. That's not how it works, because I cannot make my own group all the time. Like, for instance, I'm gonna have to do the raid here on Party Finder myself because half of the people left last week. So I'm gonna have to do them myself because we're only 4 people now. So if I get an asshole there, or just make your own group? Well, I'm gonna have to get people from somewhere, right? So you cannot escape that nightmare. Make your own group so you can set the standard. And if I have a people shitting on me, then what? Obviously, I'm gonna kick them, but I still got fucking harassed. I'm so sick to seeing this exact same response over the past 10 years I play MMOs. Isn't that simple and you know it? It is. The group leader sets the standards for what he considers acceptable DPS. If you decides to kick you for underperforming, he has every right to make your own group if you don't want to deal with that. That'd be fine if my worth to a party was considered a singular number. Yeah, if you make a group to clear, right? And it's to clear, people shouldn't judge you by your DPS number as long as you can clear. Obviously, if you're in a 90 plus stars log party, right? then okay. But that is not what this is about. This is like, I wanna make a raid, and I have this random ass people shitting on me, telling me that why is my DPS so low? Well, we're not here to discuss DPS, are we? We're here to clear, right? It's not the case if you're not a pure DPS with acuity, because something like mage will just send a group and you do less damage. But if your contribution to the class is to deal damage, why shouldn't be keep for underperforming? Underperforming according to what? That's the problem. Underperforming according to what? Because for people, underperforming, right, it's getting less than a 50 on ACT. And people don't understand 50 is more than enough to clear. 25 is more than enough to clear. But people don't understand it because they're fucking stupid and they are blinded by their fucking ACT and FFXIV. No one has a right to harass you. Yes. In this instance, harass and gape it equals criticize and kick you from the group, or no? Yeah. There's a list of the criticizing someone and harassing. Okay, you're doing subpar DPS, is okay. You're a fucking shitlord, fuck off. Is no. You get the point. What place I was sent to the second one. Yeah. Here's the funny thing, right? That person that is bitching and complaining, the reason why they get to your group in the first place is because nobody wants to play with them. When he makes his group, he's a fucking asshole and nobody likes him. So he has to join other groups. That's the cycle of life. You have this fucking loser that keeps screaming at people over and over. Nobody wants to play with them, and that's just how life goes. And he's gonna keep trying until he finds his way. It's also the single add-on responsible for the most toxicity in the game. Yeah, like, it is a good add-on, but the value it brings is very overshadowed. Where do you guys play you have a huge toxicity problem because of DPS meter? I have never heard more people claiming a less toxicity than the actual toxicity itself. Is some of the people argue with made-up arguments. Because they do argue made-up arguments, that's the FF community for you. Alita just posted a picture a moment ago, but you know. But that's, I think people from WoW think that it does not exist because according to them, they have never seen it. Even though there's clear examples of this happening. Good idea, but in general, no. A DPS player will make the game as toxic as well. Oh, this ninja doing 1k less damage on the other DPS, kick him. Yeah, and this already happens. It depends on the contest though. If it's a Savager, it is prone to expect others to pull their weight. I still don't think that one person doing 1k less DPS will make people not clear. Like, yeah. If everyone does 6k or 7k and one person does 5 or 6, yeah, that's kind of sucks, but I wouldn't mind doing that as long as we can clear. I wouldn't that consider getting carried. For me, carrying someone on Savage is basically someone that doesn't know how to do the mechanics. They die like 3 times, and they keep getting you wiped because they cannot fucking do the mechanics properly. But if someone does less damage than the rest, but does every mechanic on point, for me that's fine. For me, you're qualified to clear. As long as you can do the mechanics, yes, maybe your rotation is not as good as the rest, but you can clear, right? So, if you make the life easier for everyone else on the raid, and you do your mechanics perfectly, and you don't keep getting people killed for like 2 hours, right? Then I think you're fine. You have a human nature, you have the mentality of a child. What? Yeah, wildly naive of you to believe that in an online setting where performance can be tangibly evaluated by numbers, the majority of people will immediately be toxic about it. That exactly. I think this is fine because it's like, well, damage meters will be fine if a quick action from GMs was made. The problem is having GMs have to monitor the game 24/7 in case there's cheaters, you know? That's a lot of people you need to hire, you know? But yeah, that's basically it. Some people got fucking mad at me because I told them the truth that people cannot be trusted with ACT, but apparently we're still not past that. People don't want to admit that just yet.